people talk about, if there was a God, how come there's no proof? Or I would believe if God proved himself. There's no proof of God, which is insanity. Because the reason why God doesn't show himself, because he's given us creation. That is, people are so desensitized from evolution, they don't understand how big of a proof creation and nature is. Let's take all right, for instance, if evolution was real, we would find millions and millions of fossils from every animal, mammal, human, what have you, of every stage of its evolution. Let's take a giraffe, for instance. A giraffe has a heart in its chest, a brain in its head, needs a lot of blood pressure to pump that blood all the way up to its brain. When it bends down to get a drink of water, that blood pressure should, blow the brain right out of the top of the giraffe's skull. But it doesn't. Why? Because when it bends down, it has a reservoir underneath its brain where the blood pulls in and fills up when the brain is at the same level as the heart. And when he raises his head back up, and the reason they don't get lightheaded and pass out every time they get a drink of water is because that reservoir will supply the right amount of blood to the giraffe's brain. Right? So if it evolved to that stage, how many giraffes died to figure that out? You know what I mean? How many short-necked giraffes fossils should we find? How many medium-neck fossils of giraffes should we find? It's the same with everything. Look at a woodpecker. Why does a woodpecker knock on a tree? Because it bores a hole into that wood, into that tree, and it opens up its beak so its tongue can spar in there and grab all the little insects, and that tongue is sticky and has thorns on it. Right? And if you ever go Google a woodpecker's tongue, I'll put it on here. It's amazing. So, how many times did a woodpecker have to die until it figured out what to do with that damn tongue? You know what I mean? Or did it have the beak and no tongue, and so it was just knocking on wood, and there was no way to get the insects? Right? It's ridiculous. And also, how many fossils should we find of fish that made it up on shore to become mammals? We should find fish with one fin and one finger sticking out, one set of gills and half of a lung on one side. Where are all these fossils? There aren't any. It's ridiculous. Also, let me tell you how evolution works. Nothing evolves. Everything is an entropy. It's the exact opposite of evolution. Entropy means to its destruction. The minute you build something or make something, that thing's not evolving. It's in entropy. It's living to its destruction. You build a house, it's living to its destruction. You build a car, living to its destruction. You build a computer, living to its destruction. Right? You bake a cake, it's living to its destruction. That is the truth. And evolution, think of it like this. Let's say two wolves, right? The apex of the canine, have every bit of information in their DNA that they can possibly have, right? They have the possibility to be long hair, short hair, big dogs, small dogs, tiny, dogs with good senses, good smell, dogs with better hearing, right? They have all that information in their DNA. All right, now let's say two of these apex dogs, male and female, move to a warmer climate where their warm coat isn't required, right? So they have a pup that has short hair because of the warm climate. It did not add that information in its DNA for that. It lost the information to have long hair. That short hair pup, now that certain pup can never have a pup of its own with long hair. That information of its DNA is gone from it. right? Just like you hear about that tribe, and I believe it was the Philippines, or I'll have to look it up. But everything they do requires water. They're in the water for everything they do. Well, their children started being born with webbed fingers. Okay. Well, they evolved to that because they're always in the water. Evolution knew, right, to give them webbed fingers. No. The information, the DNA, that information got lost because they weren't using it. That piece of skin, right? Every baby in the womb, their hands look like mittens, and then they separate, right? Well, that information, to do that at to go all the way down, is gone from them. That is how evolution works. If you don't agree with me, prove me wrong. But it's not me who's right; it's God who's right. How right? God's too right. If you like what you hear, if you like this information, like, comment, and subscribe, please. And I'll see you on the next Swipe Up. I'm out.